Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Altcoin Bosses. My name is Tino. Let's have a conversation, guys. So let's make it short and sweet. What's been going on? Seems to be that Bitcoin has taken a nice little move to the downside, coming back down towards the 800 EMA and testing it very swiftly. Okay, if you remember in the previous stream on the Sunday night, we were talking about this previous pool of liquidity, and this wick right here in the chart was an important zone that they were likely to bring price back down towards, and Asia did just that. Okay, so what's the story? Bitcoin has taken a move to the downside. What's been going on with all the altcoins? Well, let's roll over to Ethereum. Exactly the same story with Ethereum. Have a look at all the altcoin bosses as in this watch list right here, bleeding across the board. Okay, we've only got a few winners right here. SXP seems to be the only coin that's doing really well, and it's holding above the 50 EMA. But if you go back in the chart, if you go back in the playlist and look at the video which says focus on altcoins dropping, all right, this is the reason why. Because all these coins right now are pretty much mimicking what Bitcoin has done. It's like everything across the board has taken a blow, okay? Normally when we see Bitcoin dropping, we want to see the dominance of Bitcoin dropping and the altcoins moving back up, okay? But now it seems to be a clean reset across the board. All the alts are just taking hits, okay? My advice, or in my opinion, should I say, focus on the coins that are actually doing very well at these current circumstances. For example, SXP seems to be holding very well above the 5, the 13, and the 50 EMA. You want to focus on this coin because when things start to move, this is one of the coins that is probably going to continue higher. You can see we got mad amounts of liquidity that they could come back up to with SXP. So just keep an eye out on this coin. All right. Gala pulling back. What do we understand about the reason why it's important to focus on coins that are pulling back? Well, look at it like this. First things first, blue vector candle appears at the highs, fails to break higher, hits the range daily high, and sharply pulls back. Because when things start to regulate, we are going to understand that this move that has happened here, we're going to see the rise up, we're going to see a retrace, and then potentially work on towards a continuation to the upside, okay? At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we are in points in the chart where it's just price discovery for Gala, okay? As a new coin itself, okay, we're going to be seeing potentially a retrace of this big green vector candle because that's exactly what it does every time. Now, it didn't make the all-time high completely, but the fact that it's actually operated in that area tells us that when things start to pick up again, there's a good chance that we are going to see more ground by Gala to the upside. Okay, so just keep an eye out on Gala, ladies and gentlemen. All right, right now, everything across the board is taking the bleed, but it's all about the coins that are actively holding their gains. All right, Gala is brand new. We've got only these pools of liquidity that they could come back to, not where they could likely go because it's an all-time high basis. All right, there's nothing on the left of the chart for us to actually go by. All right, there's not been any position building. Why? Because look, they've already recovered this previous zone right here. We've got a little zone right there, but they've recovered the majority of this move. So be patient with Gala, okay? Flux, look at that. Same story. Only liquidity to the downside is left for them to take. Look at that. The wick. Completely recovered that wick. Go and watch the majority of the videos in the altcoin bosses, okay? Go and watch that playlist. And you will see that all the coins that we spoke about with the wicks, okay? They've just come straight back to those points and gone beyond, okay? It's really important you understand that because you're going to see this sort of behavior again in the charts, okay? Now, looking at this, you can see that it's done very well to hold above the 50 EMA. It's now breaking down between the 5 and the 13 EMA on the daily time frame. So just keep an eye out on that. It's already tapped the one pool of liquidity at the 13 EMA, and now it's trying to bounce away from that point. So just be mindful of it. We could be in line for a certain patterned play right here. Two things could happen. It all depends on how long this actual pullback across the board is going to appear, because we could see another move back up to the upside where it forms an M formation and then try and come back down to regulate and bring the 50 EMA in line with this zone right here. And that could be the same with all altcoins across the board. Elrond, it seems to be the coin that is doing very well, okay, in my opinion. Why? It's come back down and recovered most of this liquidity right here, and now it's staying above the 50 EMA on the daily time frame. Looking at it on the 1 hour time frame, you can see bright as day it's holding above the 800 EMA. Okay, so it's at a very important point in the chart, ladies and gentlemen. Strong movement back up. Okay, this would be what you would call, in terms of candlestick patterns, this is called a piercing pattern, where the previous candle makes an attempt to the downside, but the candle that precedes it itself shifts out and goes beyond the previous candle. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the market makers trying to contain the zone, because they've just released all the liquidity to the downside and took back all that previous wick right here, this previous wick right here, and made all the retail traders pay the price for not paying themselves. Okay, Ava taking a big bleed to the downside, gone beyond the moving averages on the 1 hour time frame. Looking at it on the daily time frame itself, you can see bright as day that it's still in the same range as it has been for quite some time. So this is really positive for this coin. Why? Okay, because look, as you can see on the daily itself, this previous zone right here, where they had accumulated majority of the contracts from to move price higher, they have now come back. This is the first pullback away from this zone. So principle would say that this would be a W formation, rise up level 1, retrace, another mini W formation, continuation to the upside, if that is the case. The question is do they want to come back to this pool of liquidity right here and form another pattern in this zone? What are the chances of that happening? If you consider the volume at the bottom of the chart right here, you can see that volume is starting to rise. As it comes down, it starts to drop, and as it's coming down again, it's starting to rise. So market makers are not uploading, but they are preparing their positions. Something's going to change, ladies and gentlemen, which is why I say to you, focus on coins that are pulling back, because you're going to understand if their strength is present in the chart. Solana, still one of the strongest coins out there, again on the daily, still above the 50 EMA on the daily time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, you can see it's come down to the range daily low and pulled away from it. Problem is we're expecting a little bit of a pullback to recover this previous liquidity for them to actually base out and then make another move to the upside. So keep an eye out on that. Coins that are making all-time highs don't have many vector candles to the left side of the chart. We're not seeing any red vector candles other than this point in the chart right here. So if they do bring Solana back up towards this zone, expect the following: W formation, retrace, continuation up. Once they hit that point in the chart, they'll be looking to pull back down to test the previous zone and try and make another move to the upside again. Okay? Crow holding its gains at the 200 EMA on the hourly. Really important for this coin, because it's come back down straight to the previous pool that they had already accumulated from and made the move to the upside. This is the difference between understanding when intention steps in. Look, you've got this block right here where they actively bounce price up and down in this zone and accumulated more contracts, more positions, so that they could mark price higher. Then they bring it all the way down, and now they've shown the same thing again. Big stopping volume candle on Crow at the 200 EMA, range daily low. It's just screaming a retrace back up. But how long will it be until that happens is the key question. Okay, BNB is taking a bit of a battering to the downside as well, and it keeps on going down lower. But of course, they need to recover the previous wick, which is what they have done right here. Okay, try to take the range weekly low, but I do believe Binance is likely to come back down into this point in the chart and test at the 800 EMA, given that there have been a lot of altcoins that have actually done that. So just keep an eye out on that, guys. Okay, Comp seems to be doing okay as well. It's back into that $313 zone when it last previously consolidated. So that's good news for us. So we need to just keep an eye out on Comp in case they do decide to change direction and move back up. If you notice, bright as day, you can see that we have got the big stopping volume candle, and volume is coming way above average in this zone. Started to move lower, and the volume wasn't as much, but this candlestick right here showed interest by the market maker to contain the zone. Looking at the RSI itself, you can see it's outside the volatility band on the first low right here, and then on the second low, it's inside the volatility band, so we've got divergence in the chart. Okay, looking at Ethereum as well, same story. Divergences are all happening across the board. Is New York going to make a follow through and continue with price to the upside, or is it just going to continue back down again? Okay, the star of the show, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, that is causing all of this madness is Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is trying to hold in and around the 60 zone. 60K seems to be the place for fair value, because look at what it was doing beforehand. All right. If you notice, Bitcoin at the 60,000 zone, You can see this is where they were previously accumulating a lot of contracts where a lot of support had been present. Now, this fast move to the downside to get it back into this consolidation zone gives me the heads up that this could be the point in the chart that they are preparing to make moves back up again. Because look, they have set price up, okay? Look at these the positions that the market maker has opened his longs at. So we know at some point they're likely to come back to this point. What we're waiting for is for a pattern to develop so that we are prepared and getting ready to see the shifting of the zone, and then we should see price continue higher. If we do see Bitcoin coming down lower in New York, you can see the pools of liquidity that they are likely to come back to. You can see they come back to this point last night, and sorry, earlier on today. They came back down to that point and they've pulled straight back away from it. What's the problem? The problem is this. There's this wick again. They're going to come back to this wick to test the value again, okay? This wick development, okay, could lead to Bitcoin coming back down into this zone right here. So we could see a bit of a retrace back up, and then they could come back down again and base out in this area here, which would be filling this previous wick. Look at what happened here. This wick right here, they did exactly just that. They bounced the lows, came all the way back up to the 50 EMA, regulated price. Then they made one last attempt again to the downside, formed another wick. Then they moved away from that point, and they did exactly the same again by recovering this previous zone right here. Now we've got the same story here, but lower. The idea is that from this point here, they are likely to come back up because we've got pools of liquidity in the chart that they want to try and come back up towards, because that's where the market maker had previously built his longs, okay? Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody is doing well. I'm diving into a couple of other things as well with the streams. I'm going to be considering a lot of Glassnode Studio on-chain analytics, okay? We're going to be diving into this bad boy right here and understanding how to translate it, talking to the patrons about this and understanding the benefit of this Bitcoin price temperature chart itself. So I'm going to be looking deeper into this as well. But the actual node itself does actually give me quite a bit of information. I am new to it all, so I'm going to be actively translating this information that I can see right here and try and putting it into the chart in relation to the way the market makers move price. Because remember, on-chain analytics is all down to Bitcoin itself, the coin. So who's holding it, who's buying it, and what's going on in the story behind Bitcoin. The market maker, he's all about the exchanges, you know, the open interest, the leverages, the liquidations, okay? That's his business. All right. This information here is about the coin itself, who's buying it, who's selling it physically. OK, not trading it, just buying it and selling it. OK, so I'm going to be diving into that in the streams, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be helping you guys work out exactly what you can get from this information. You don't need to pay for this. I'm paying for it. So happy days. Pattern watchers, mad love and respect to all of you. And to anybody new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe so you can get more of these videos. But we've got a lot of work to do, guys. Bitcoin's making moves to the downside. It's throwing everyone off board, across the board. And we're waiting for New York to show its hand. All right? Mad love and respect to all of you. I will catch up with you guys later on. Stay safe, guys. Peace.